Out of Heroes Hearth, this is Kyle Fergusson. Today I'm sitting down with 30K's Bad Benny on Diablo. This is from game 1 of the round of 4 versus Wild Heart. Thank you for joining me, Bad Benny.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for playing Diablo.
Yeah, there was a lot of Diablo games this weekend actually. And this was one of the quicker games, if I remember correctly, as well.
Yes, yeah, pretty decisive, but you know, it is Tomb of the Spider Queen. There's some Diablo history there. We're gonna get into your talent build and all that sort of thing. But perhaps the first thing that came up was in the draft. You picked Diablo as a third pick early on before the Tychus and Garrosh were shown. Can Diablo be early picked, or is this just like map power?
So they already showed the Blaze and the Hanzo, and Diablo is already fine into those. Diablo is also very good with Tracer, it's good versus Tracer, so it's good to deny it by picking it. So we went picking Rhaegar into Diablo Tracer to secure what we wanted there. And then we knew they would try to counter Diablo somehow. I banned the Stitchers, if I remember correctly, because I thought that would be harder to play into than the Garrosh. Which I think was the correct choice, after seeing how the game played out. But yeah, early Diablo pick, and they tried to counter me, but didn't really matter.
So the Tracer was already planned at this point?
Yeah. Depending on how they picked their first two heroes, we were talking about if we went the Diablo Tracer instantly, or if we went a more safe route without showing anything, then we would have probably picked an offlane and a main ranged hero instead of a Tracer, like a ranged hero that can solo range if needed. Tracer is not one of those. So we had a bit of a different options in mind depending on how they the 1-2 day shows.
Now, in the past, there was a big sort of Diablo's a huge counter or countered by Garrosh mentality. Is that not the case anymore? Has there just been counterplay developed, or did Rhaegar change that? What's going on there?
I think it has always been a skill matchup, and it depends less on the tanks and more on the rest of the draft. Like this game, they have a decent damage on me, but at the same time, like, it's mostly the Tychus that's good versus Diablo. The other heroes are not super good versus it. So even if I get thrown in, I probably don't die if my team is close, except for one time in this game. But that was my bad.
In the previous incarnation of Rhaegar, he was always Lightning Shield, and Diablo Rhaegar had this great synergy because of the shielding talent later on. I don't think Rhaegar's go Lightning Shield talents anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the 13 even got buffed actually, so I think you could still go for it, but I don't play the Rhaegar myself, but I just assume that the other one gives too much value to pass up on. I would like to see the healing totem of 4 being picked more though. I'm not sure why people are not picking it, like Yasuo included here, because every time I see that it seems super strong. And it got super buffed as well.
So talking about Diablo on Tomb of the Spider Queen here, it's such a popular map. I've heard that the turn-ins have great walls around them for Diablo, but is it mostly just like soul farming?
So with the Q build, you don't actually care about soul farming as much, because 1 Q in a wall gives you 10 souls instantly, and you get souls back very fast if you die, and you get them very fast when you don't have them, basically. So it's not as much of an issue when you go this build. It's harder if you die with W build to get your souls back, and you also rely on being more tanky with the W build.
Wait.
So with Q, yeah.
Is Q build considered the soul build? I thought the easy souls was souls to the flame, with all the flame stomping.
I'm not sure which one's considered easier, but
fair, yeah. But
it goes faster getting it back with the Q build for sure. Like you saw, I almost full souls already now, and with W build I would probably have maybe 50 souls something now. Like around that.
So these stuns right now, they're not even, I mean, you have a team with you and they're responding to the engage you make, but it's not really about engage. You're just getting a stun whenever you can for sweet soulage.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in if I risk dying for it, but like if the enemy is mispositioned in a moment, I will stun, and part of it is for the souls for sure, and I also get armor, so it's very hard for them to like punish me for it. I also like it a lot with this level 1 talent because you get so much sustain just from being in waves. Like even if you don't die when you go in, you just go for 1-2 globes and then you're full HP again. It's a very underrated talent, I think.
Yeah, it's Devil's Due here.
Level 8.
So, in the early game, you took the top lane. Is that so? Because you have this build, you don't really have to like have an organized double soak. You can just sit in one lane, cover it for your team. They can go do other things, and you get enough souls just stunning people into random walls here and there.
It's not that planned out how we learn. Like it's not for the getting the souls or whatever, but it's just the best lane setup we could do early game. Like we respected their early game. We didn't want to contest them because they had more kill potential early.
Okay.
And we wanted to scale with our heroes. Like I want to get souls. Tracer needs to scale a bit, and then we're also better than their draft at doing camps with the Rhaegar. And Tracer is pretty good at pressuring bot lane, so we just decided to go with that lane setup, and so far it went pretty well this game.
Yeah, is Diablo one of these kind of level dependent heroes as well? Do you want to get to a certain level before you make big engages?
I think it's at level 7 you get a lot of damage already, and then like 10 upbo, then you can get picks way easier. Then you don't need a wall stun. Then you can just go in the middle of a lane on someone usually. Then 13 you just get a bit more damage, and 16 is the big power spike, I guess, with the reset on your Q when you flip someone. Then you can really do a lot of damage.
Malevolence here, you brought up, gives you a lot of damage, and here into things that are squishy like Hanzo certainly seems like it. Basic abilities cause Diablo's next basic attack within 6 seconds to deal additional spell damage. So this is all pop.
Yeah, if you click... Okay, this was the only time I died actually, and I think we mispositioned, or we made a big mistake here. I think the engage was fine, but we didn't... use our things instantly, and they got a kind of big counter arrow actually.
Yeah, into the light bomb no less too, in tower range.
Yeah. So maybe it was too risky, but yeah, it was a good try as things did. But actually, if you press the C button, you can see how much auto attack damage Diablo has. I think if you clicked on my hero.
Oh, let's see. Yeah. All right.
There it is. How does it? 161. So read Malevolence talent. How much damage does that increase? 154. So it basically doubles your auto attack damage. It's like a 98% crit, whereas one part of it is spell damage. So, and you can get a lot of procs of that. Like basic rotation, you have 3 procs with double auto attack damage. That's a lot of damage for a tank. That also dives in on a squishy hero more often than not. So, and I think the damage of the Malevolence is very underrated.
Is this your go-to talent in 7?
It just depends on the build. Okay. With Q build, it's always this. With W build, you have to take the W, the Eternal Flames.
Sure, more resets. Do you ever go? Yeah. I know, like there was a brief time, maybe a year ago now, where Life Leech was just awesome. Does that have any play anymore, or is that pretty much out?
It kinda sometimes has play, but personally I don't like the build. I much prefer the Q build.
Okay.
In every situation where you would go Life Leech. Actually, sometimes you go... I think there's one exception to the Q build where you take the cooldown reduction on 7, and that's when you have a Mediv. You can go for that, because then getting more combos out it might be more useful than... doing one big combo, because Mediv allows you to stay in the fight longer than usual.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and just stay attached as you continue to chase and chase forever.
So that's the one adaptation I can think of.
Now you grabbed Devastating Charge, which I never see in my home games anymore since it was nerfed a while ago, but this is terrain collision damage up, Hitting enemy heroes against terrain is a quest, and you get armor reduction there. So you're getting armor for yourself, souls for yourself, bonus damage on... Oh, okay, so you hit them into a wall. They have reduced armor for your basically doubled auto attack damage.
Yeah, and then you hit them in another wall while they have reduced armor on 16. But I think actually this game, I think I completed the quest when we went on core actually, or if even. So this game, I think it only did the basic part of it. But usually you complete it fairly easy.
Now you're pretty You're pretty reliably doing a combo here with the Apocalypse that I feel every Diablo needs to know about, no matter their league, where you are going in with the charge, pushing them off of the Apocalypse, then E-ing them back over onto the Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you're doing to make this easier, or using a shift command, or is it just practice and doing it fast enough?
I mean, I learned about the shift, that you could shift command things when I started playing on NA actually, because someone said that like with the ping maybe it would be easier to shift command, and then I tried it and I don't know, I'm a creature of habit I guess, because it was very hard doing the shift commands for me at least. But I think if you can get good at that, it will for sure help a lot of heroes like that are similar to Diablo. So with Diablo you have to you press your Q, and then while you're mid Q, like while you're flying, you shift EQ, and then you will instantly do like the wall bang if you want to do that. But I don't know. I tried it a bit, but it didn't feel that good for me. So I just keep clicking on it. I Q in, and then I click E, and then I click Q. And sometimes you E the wrong guy, sometimes you Q the wrong guy. It happens, but
fair enough. Fair enough. So we got that domination on board now, where you have the resets the cooldown of Shadow Charge on your overpower for those big chokes here, for those big double stuns and everything like that. Cool to see too, just using charge just for damage of camps, even hitting the boss there just to get a little more throughput in.
Yeah, that's actually the malevolence adds a lot to the PvE of Diablo.
Oh, next basic attack.
The crits.
Oh, it works on anything. I didn't know it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was hero dependent. Okay.
That so when you clear waves with this, like you want to, use abilities and then maximize your damage output on the minions and stuff. Also, actually playing around waves. There's a lot of Diablo games where if I have this build, we take a team fight around a wave. I'm getting low, and then I call for my team to get me a globe. Like if there's a wave coming, I get the globe minion, and then I have like 10% HP. I get a globe. I slowly go up to 40%. I'm a killable, and then I get another combo, and we win the fight. It's happened so many times actually.
So you mentioned on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we're often in Tomb of the Spider Queen fighting inside the waves. If that isn't a possibility, let's say, Towers of Doom has really long fights away from the waves. Do you like Diabolic Momentum in that case? Do you still go this build?
No,
do you do Feast on Fear? Yeah, you still
go this build.
So you just love Devil's Due.
Every single map.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just better. Like, I think is it called Feast on Fear? Yeah. It's, it's decent, but it's never gonna change the game, in my opinion. Like it's just a little bit of heal, whereas Devil's Due actually can be game changing. Like if you play around it well, and because you never have to recall with it. Like it's a huge thing never having to recall as a tank, because that means you can always be providing vision. You can always be where you should be instead of having to recall. Like the mana part of it, because it increases the mana as well, right? Not only the heal of the globe.
But here's just an insane bit of combat that's going to be unleashed here as we reach the end. But there's the power of that double stun.
They thought they had me, but they weren't really in position. My team was in position. I was calling the garage to kill the garage here, and meanwhile Dino, Yasu, and Liam just killed all their backline. It was.
Oh yeah,
So I got actually one Q only.
Wow. Yeah, so you took out,
and that was this last fight. It was his last fight.
Right, that's some pretty good throughput on Diablo, because you did not have the armor reduction to Garrosh, and he still went down while you were dealing with him. I mean, some levels up here are also having an impact, of course. Okay, so you just love Devil's Due. In a team environment here, you're telling your team to kind of grab you globes and help you out with that. Do you feel like in a Storm League environment you like Devil's Due less, or still just all the time?
If I go Q build, I will pretty much always pick Devil's Due, yeah.
Okay.
It's very, very rare I switch it up, just because I think it synergizes with the build so much better. Same thing that Soul Shield synergizes with W build so much better, because you reset it very fast.
And
it's just a different play style.
And you talked a little bit about how you were able to stay on the map. You were warding for your team, sitting in these bushes throughout the match, looking for engages, looking for incoming.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah, that is...
like, Muradins go wherever they want. But Diablo doesn't really have an escape button. He can't ghost away like Leoric. He can't jump away like Muradin can. Can't power slide out. Is it just a more careful process?
Depends a bit on how the map looks, I would say. I would definitely go and hide as deep as I could with Diablo as well, if I think it's worth it. But this game, like, we were in such a commanding position that, like, they have to walk up with their draft, then we can get very favorable fights. Whereas if I stayed like deep on their side of the map, then if they find me, it's very bad, right? It can be disastrous. Also on this map, there's not really any places to hide, because if I would stay around the Bruiser camp, like, there's no good places to hide, basically. Like, if they walk up on the map, then they will see me. So
then at level 20 here, you got yourself the Hellgate. Didn't come into play. In fact, let's see if you squeeze out a last second Hellgate here for some core damage. But either way, this seems like the go-to talent. I haven't seen a lot, maybe a Hellstorm once in a while. But do you ever grab any of the other level 20s?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
With mostly with W build though.
Okay.
And then it's Lord of Terror that I sometimes pick, actually. I think it's pretty underrated into some drafts. Yeah. It's because usually with W build you take it when you will draw a lot of aggro and you want a lot of people to go on you and be focused on you, and like that's how you create space for your team. So Lord of Terror can be a huge deciding factor when you get your combo out with the W build, you pop Spell Shield, you Lightning Breath, and then versus some drafts you will be very close to dying, and instead of bolting out then, if you pop Lord of Terror, you get a big chunk of HP, and you can just bait their entire team. Like, but it depends on what draft they have, again. So I would probably pick it versus a melee heavy draft, and versus if they were like killing me from range, I would probably go Hellgate, because then it's more valuable having the gap close of Hellgate as well if they are ranged.
So absolutely surrounded with this W build that's hitting all the time, increasing your spell power. You're doing the Lightning Breath in there. You got the damage reduction for hitting them multiple times.
Yeah.
Lord of Terror, not necessarily augmented by those things, but more the case that you're just surrounded in the first place.
Yeah, it's very often you see a Diablo like dropping low but never dying, and it's in those situations you can like bait the team more if you have Lord of Terror, because like they try to finish you off. Like they see, oh, Diablo is almost dead, get his souls, and then they go in, they do this tiny overextension, you pop that, you heal like 30% of your HP, and I mean then they can't kill you anymore, and then they might have lost the game because of that.
Do you ever take the augmentations for Apocalypse or Lightning Breath?
Lightning Breath, I did bit, but then I realized it's not really worth it. Like it can be good, but it's not as flexible as the others. Like the others are very clear what they do. Hellstorm could maybe be like zoning on an objective more, but chances are, if you just use it, they go out of your range, and then they hit you. Like either they just go out of your range, or you have to cancel it anyway because your spell shield runs out after 4 seconds.
Interesting.
Then you die.
Yeah. So you got 4 seconds there. How long does Lightning Breath normally go? 4 seconds. Okay, so that overlaps perfectly. Yeah. So you're actually vulnerable, and if you're going to be surrounded, you're doing Hellstorm Lightning Breath anyway, you might as well Lord of Terror 'em and keep living.
Yeah, a lot of the time I actually think that's the case.
And Dying Breath just never...
Yeah, no, that one is just terrible. That one is just terrible, unfortunately.
Awesome. Well, if someone was interested in getting into Diablo, which of those builds would you start with? What would be kind of the training wheels that you would suggest a quick match player do for their build?
W build Lightning Breath probably easier. Like, you're not as reliant on hitting wall stuns, but it's also more less fun, I would say. So
okay,
depends, because some people they want to feel that they're strong to enjoy and learn from it, right? Like the Diablo, you go Q build. Oh, I'm killing everyone. They enjoy it a lot, and then they maybe they focus more, improve a lot, and then they instead, if they play W build, then you're not doing as much by yourself. Then you're more creating space, and then maybe this hero sucks. I don't do anything, and then maybe they don't learn how to properly do it. So
that's good advice. Have fun, and you'll actually play enough to get good.
Yeah. Definitely. So I would recommend trying both builds, see what you like, and slowly learn which build is better versus what kind of heroes on the enemy team. That's my recommendation.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the information on Diablo, one of my favorite heroes. Everybody watching here at YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell here at Heroes Hearth. Got more Learn to Play action coming at you. And of course, those grand finals for the CCL Season 3. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.